We're on the trade show floor here at South by Southwest, and joining me this morning is Shannon Reidinger of NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama. Shannon, why NASA here at South by Southwest?
Well, NASA is here because we want to share what we're doing with the public. We're doing some great things, innovation, technology. We're building a new rocket. We're on our journey to Mars, and we just want everybody to know, and especially this really, really great crowd, all the great things that NASA's doing.
There may seem to be a little bit of a perception, since some of the programs have ceased, that NASA is slowing down, but that's not the case at all, is it?
No, that is not the case. We're building the rocket, the Space Launch System. Back in December, we actually launched the Orion, a crew vehicle, on a Delta IV Heavy rocket. It had a great flight, and we're doing a lot of great things.
Well, why don't we take a walk around and see some of these things for ourselves?
Okay, let's go.
What are we doing in this section?
Okay, so this is our Space Launch System rocket. So this model here that you see, it shows we have the Orion crew capsule on the top. That's where the astronauts will be. This is our core stage, and this rocket is going to launch in 2018. Yep.
Where does this one go?
Well, this one, the great thing about this rocket is it can go anywhere. That's the reason that we are building this rocket, is because we want the capability to go to deep space. We can go to an asteroid, we can go to Mars, we can go to a Lagrangian point. This rocket can take us anywhere we want to go.
So this, I understand, is the International Space Station exhibit. What goes on in here?
It is. So this is a really cool exhibit. You can actually enter in. There's video screens throughout. There's a moon rock inside. And basically this tells you what all the great research and scientific experiments that are being done on the ISS.
I noticed a couple of videos inside that were actually shot inside the space station.
Yes, it has several different astronauts, pictures from space. It's just really cool.
Great. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about NASA and the mission to Mars. What's in the works for that?
Well, yes. So NASA's plans, we've been calling them the journey to Mars. And so eventually, that's where we want to go. So that's why we're building this rocket, the Space Launch System, because it will have the capability pretty much to go wherever we want to. Because we really feel that Mars, not only getting there, but all the technology and science that we will learn just from planning the mission is just awesome.
I'm with Jason Callery from NASA Science in Baltimore, and Jason's going to tell us all about the new version of the Hubble telescope, which is now called
the James Webb Space Telescope. So we're here celebrating the 25th anniversary of the Hubble Space Telescope, and also looking beyond Hubble onto what we have coming up next. And so we're building a telescope right now at NASA that's going to be 100 times more powerful than Hubble. It's called the James Webb Space Telescope. It's going to launch in 2018, and it's going to see the universe much more clearly than Hubble has. It's going to see much deeper than Hubble has in the past. It's going to be amazing.
Brian Mitchell, also from Huntsville, knows a little bit about what's going on with Saturn. Brian, tell us about the displays here.
Well, Enceladus has gotten a lot of attention in just the last week or two. We've always known that it's had these vents. We thought they were cryo vents coming out of the top of it, and these vents feed the outer ring of Saturn. Actually, is creating that outer ring of Saturn. But one of the things we didn't know was that this the moisture coming out of these vents is heated. Now we know, or we're pretty sure that there is a warm ocean underneath this ice crust on Enceladus. So that makes it a really, really interesting place, because we're not really sure why it's heated. So we've got to figure out why this thing that shouldn't be hot is hot. And if you've got a warm ocean underneath that ice crust, what's in it?
Joining me now is Greer Wills from the Johnson Space Center in Houston, and Astronaut X. Now, Astronaut X here hasn't flown any missions now, but he's kind of a prototype, or at least his suit is, for what's being used now in space. Is that correct, Greer?
Right. This is the same suit we're using on orbit right now. We just performed 3 spacewalks, 2 at the end of February and 1 at the beginning of March, using the same suit, performing various tasks on the space station.
Now, what are some of the features? I mean, obviously, you've got to be pumping in oxygen, but what about nutrients? What about food? What about water? How does that work inside the confines of a spacesuit?
Right, so a spacewalk itself is about 6.5 hours. So we don't have any food inside the suit. The crew will definitely eat up beforehand. And we do have a small drink bag in there in case they get thirsty. We provide the portable life support system back here that has breathing oxygen. It can scrub carbon dioxide from the suit. There's also cooling for the crew member. Again, they're in the vacuum of space orbiting Earth. There's a sunset, and a a sunrise every 90 minutes. So the temperature ranges from positive 250 degrees to negative 250 degrees. So the suit protects that, and along with the cooling system here.
Clearly, South by Southwest is all about exploration. We're exploring film, we're exploring music, we're exploring technology. Thanks to the folks at NASA, we're also exploring space. What we've come to learn is that NASA is much more than the space shuttle. What they've taught us today is that South by Southwest is truly the final frontier.